All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sapien Matic AMA. I'm Ankit Bhatia, co-founder and CEO of Sapien, here with Sandeep from Matic. So, hey, Sandeep, how's it going?
Going good. Hi guys, I'm Sandeep from Matic Network. Yeah, looking forward to the AMA.
Awesome. So we got some really great questions from the communities, both the Matic and Sapien communities. So let's just get started. Go ahead and get into these. Before then, maybe just a little bit of background about Sapien and Matic for those that aren't familiar with the projects. Sapien is the leading Ethereum-based social network. Our vision is to build a decentralized, community-driven platform that rewards creators and puts users back in control of their privacy. At Sapien, we like to say we're humans first, and as such, we're building the Web3 social network of the future. Started in 2016, immensely dissatisfied with social media with my co-founder, Rob Giametti. And yeah, on track now to become one of the biggest networks in the space. And yeah, maybe a little bit about Matic, Sandeep.
Yeah. So Matic Network is a layer 2 scaling platform which offers multiple layer 2 approaches. And we recently launched our mainnet with the hybrid POS plus Plasma sidechains. Like why POS and Plasma together? Because Plasma, has some of the there have been some concerns with Plasma, which having a hybrid POS blockchain, POS blockchain actually solves it. So that's our first offering, and we expect to have more, layer 2 approaches in the future. So idea is to basically provide decentralized execution at scale to the businesses who are looking to build decentralized, applications. Daps in precise. Yeah.
Right. Awesome. Thank you, Sandeep. Incredibly exciting. And let's go ahead and get into these questions.
Yeah.
So yeah, the first one I think is for Sapien. It says, why did you name your project Sapien? What was Sapien created to solve? What is the business model of the project? So yeah, the name Sapien really just came from us striving for an inclusive name that could cater to anyone, right? We didn't want to build some sort of platform that was just serving one sort of group of people. We felt like there were certain things that everyone needed, like privacy, the right to privacy, the right for free and open communication. So we thought that Sapien, designated after a species, would be a great name for that. And we all know the problems of centralized social networks. We felt that these platforms are just exploiting user data and manipulating algorithms to keep people on their feeds longer. And one of the ways that Sapien differentiates itself is to get away from this extractive business model where they're trying to mine for attention and move over to a value economy. And this is what tokenization and blockchain really enables, and it's enabled by projects like Matic. So yeah, really, really exciting stuff, and I think it's the future forward. So the first question that we have here on between Sapien and Matic is there a common vision between Sapien Network and Matic Network in developing blockchain and Daps? You want to start with that?
Yeah. So I think the common vision is, one of the main points where we and Sapien leadership team connect is the user experience part. That we both want to provide user experience which is actually is actually able to fulfill the vision, like the vision of decentralized user data control and all that kind of vision that we have for the whole industry. But that requires mass scale adoption, and that adoption will not come before user experience. And I think that is one key element which joins, like Sapien and Matic. Sapien team wants to provide superlative user experience to their users, and that's why they are exploring layer 2 to have the scalability benefits and everything. So that is one of the one of the core common areas of synergies between us. and definitely having layer 2 where the transaction cost can be low, and then even like we are even like Ankit and me keep on talking about various things like gasless transactions and things like that, wherein users don't have to pay anything if that's possible at all, and that's feasible in longer term. So those kind of things are there. And then we have the other thing is that having mass adopted applications, like and we strongly believe that Sapien can be the biggest platform in the space, so we are aligned on that part too. So
Mhm.
that's why very excited to work with Sapien team.
Yeah, and just to add to that, I mean, just working with Matic and Sandeep, your team, just the focus and the attention to detail on the user experience and the developer experience has just been so good, right? Like the ability to quickly pick up some Matic libraries and start integrating them, and that's what we felt was so important. This isn't some like idealism that's 5 years out. This is like today we're building, we're deploying code and technology, and we want to put this in the hands of people, and that's what just makes it so powerful. But yeah, so this next question, now people are getting into it. So is there a big plan for cooperation between Sapien and Matic at this time? So yes, I can say absolutely. Matic is helping us scale our transactions so we can onboard millions of users, and they're not waiting several minutes for transactions to pass or hours. And the other big thing is that Sapien is coming on board Matic as a early validator of their network. So we'll be joining as a Dapp validator, and maybe Sandeep, you can speak to that too.
Yep. So yeah, we expect Matic, like Sapien, community or Sapien team initially as a validator, and slowly how we can, have more benefits of, the Matic community to the or Matic ecosystem to the Sapien community, and vice versa. And you guys, many of the Sapien fans here already, you guys must have seen the growing Matic tribe on Sapien. It's already like 200, approaching like 250, I think, and we are seeing heightened, traction over there. I mean, we believe that slowly it will be mainstay for discussions related to Matic, and we highly to all the Matic community members and everyone. If you want to interact directly with the leadership team, you can ask those questions, have those discussions initiated on Sapien community today. This is, as Ankit was saying, that this is available today, and yeah, we'll be like, I have made sure that this is a pin tab. Sapien is a pin tab on my this thing. If you have any particular queries and you want to interact with me, Sapien can be the de facto place. So please, reach out to us over there. So yeah, that's
Awesome.
also one.
Yeah. So the next question is for Sapien. So what is the most important feature users can enjoy by using Matic on Daps? Why is it important for Sapien users? So there's a few things, obviously, that we've been pointing out. We have near instant transactions, which are really important for users to get feedback immediately. We have reduced gas fees. I mean, we can all see how the mainnet gets extremely congested. We're talking over, recently I was setting a transaction yesterday, it was like 30 gigaway plus, and it's expensive, right? And that's not going to work for the mainstream. It's just not the way we get adoption. And it's important that on blockchains like Matic, that gas fee is much lower. The EVM compatibility is also something that we very much appreciate. The interoperability with other projects. So it's not like Matic is out in its own space and needs to develop all these things from scratch. A lot of the existing projects and contracts can be migrated over to Matic, and that makes it so we can still tap into the existing great work that the community has been doing. And the last thing was the blockchain scalability, of course, right? Where we don't have to wait for ETH 2.0 to start scaling our platform and our vision for Sapien. We can start today, as we've been saying.
I mean, today only I have done one $4.7 transaction. That's like almost $5 transaction on Ethereum. And then at least 4 or 5 $2.5 and upwards transactions on Ethereum. It's getting like completely choked up, and I don't know what exactly is going to happen in coming days. It's going to be more and more difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, it's good because it shows network adoption and usage, but at the same time, it's like, at a certain point, they're to stop using it. So
yeah, exactly.
Gotta be proactive about it, to say the least.
Yep, exactly.
All right, so the next question is for Matic. What's the main reason behind layer 2 scalability solution in Matic? What's the benefits of this layer 2 scaling solution over a layer 1 scaling solution?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Actually, very few people ask it this way. People simply ask, what are the benefits of layer 2? And that's very obvious that layer 1 is very congested. We were just talking about the high transaction fees, and right now, if you do some transactions on Ethereum, and if you are paying even medium enough gas fees, like one of my transaction, I was just talking to my co-founder JD. I paid $2.2, and then even then it took like 8 minutes to confirm, and that's not going to be feasible for long. So there are going to be problems in that. So of course layer 2 is required because the scalability is required. But the important question is why, and specific to this question, that why it is different than layer 1, and why layer 1 can't do what we are saying, right? So there are multiple tenets to that. So basically, we strongly believe that layer 1, because there is a lot of trust in the value that people are holding, and it needs to be decentralized. It needs to be very, very secure. So we believe that layer 1s, even in the longer run, we don't see even in any particular scenario where layer 1s will be infinitely scalable. That doesn't seem like a very realistic scenario to us. And I think Bitcoin community and Bitcoin developer community understands that. That's why they have always taken a very strong stance that they don't want to meddle with the layer 1s, like the Bitcoin layer 1s, decentralization, security, and everything, because the value, the value of Bitcoin is like, that's the store of value proposition is very important. Similarly, for Ethereum also, we believe that security and decentralization is very important. Even then, ETH 2.0 is coming. Everyone knows that it's coming, but it's still at least 1.5 to 2 years out. Even in 1.5 to 2 years, I'm not sure whether we are going to see multiple functional shards. But let's, for a very optimistic scenario, assume that there are 64 shards, right? And all shards are operational in let's say 1.5 or 2 years, right? Even then, if you see that 64 shards are there, each shard will, right now a single Ethereum chain has, let's say, 15 transactions per second. Let's say it somehow increases to 50 transactions per second, right? 50 TPS. So even then, if you see 64 shards will be able to hardly take 32,000 transactions, right? And we are talking about world computer. We are talking about thinking of Ethereum as world computer, that there will be thousands and thousands of apps on Ethereum. So you see that the moment number of, like, the supply of the TPS goes high, right, the demand will go again further up here. And then right now we are talking about $2 transaction being costly. But for an application, even like a 10-cent transaction is costly, right? Even 1 cent transaction is costly, right? So that's never going to be at a scale where all the apps can live on layer 1. We don't believe in that future. So that's why we believe that layer 1s will always remain as the solid settlement layer, but then the business activity will happen on layer 2 in various different ways it can happen on layer 2. So that's our belief. That's why layer 2 is fundamental and it's going to stay. That is our strong belief. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, that's tremendous, and that's the vision that I also share for layer 2, right? Because each of the chains can also be optimized for their own purposes. So I remember reading the docs, and we can shorten block times, or make modifications to the side chains as needed for the business use case. So I really like that idea. I really like settling on the main chain, and that's where the disputes go, where people can exit if they suspect fraud. So I think that's just a better way to construct the decentralized web. So. All right. So the next question is for Sapien. Can you explain the partnership between Matic and Sapien? Also, what's the benefits of collaboration to users, holders, and traders? So as you can all tell by now, this is incredibly exciting. We not only is Sapien running a Matic node, but we're also going to be migrating our token economy from mainnet to Matic. So this includes two major components. We have staking right now in Sapien, which is an incredibly vibrant ecosystem. More than 18 million SPN tokens have been staked, and this really creates the something at stake design within Sapien, right? We don't want our platform to be proliferated by bots and fake accounts. So one thing we do to mitigate that is introduce this concept of staking, where users can put down tokens and get some additional benefits, which I can get into. But conceptually, a social platform built on staking is a very interesting idea, and we think that's how we get everyone to have some skin in the game. The second big thing that's migrating over to Matic would be charging. And this is the ability for users to reward contributions fairly for the value that they add. So this is content creators, curators, they can receive and use SPN tokens to charge on the platform. And as far as I know, and Sandeep, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Sapien utility token will be the first Ethereum-based social network on the layer 2 Plasma proof of chain, proof of stake chain. Yeah.
Definitely, it's the first one, and I believe that it's one of the strongest one, in the whole space. Not even like, I don't think even one of the. I think very confidently I can say that it's currently the biggest platform, and it's on the path to become like really big. If some of the things play out very good in the coming days. So yeah, I'm very excited for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, everything we do, at Sapien is in the best interest of the user. So partnering with Matic lets Sapien move one step closer to becoming like a mainstream decentralized social network that is accessible by the mainstream user. And that's what we're all ultimately driving towards. So for token holders, this also introduces an additional utility for SPN because it's enhancing the ability for the token to capture and facilitate value flow within Sapien. And that's incredibly important. So. All right, Sandeep, this one's for you. What about security for Matic Network? Are all entries, I think, all our entries non-editable or revertible? How does Matic prevent attacks like a 51% attack or so?
Yeah. So Matic Network sidechain, as I was already mentioning, that these are POS plus Plasma sidechain. So there are 3 layers of security in the chain, right? So one is at the block production level, right? And where there are multiple parties who are participating in the block production. These parties are like, this is the lowest layer of the chain where the executions happen. Then on top of it, you have a validator layer, which is a very decentralized layer. Even now, it has like around 110 validators. In coming upgrades, we expect this validator layer to go into thousands probably. And this is built on Tendermint, which is also very proven kind of consensus mechanism. So the validators are there. Many of them are randomly chosen to produce the block producers, right? So to produce the block, to become the block producers. And then these validators, every few minutes, they do a consensus between them, and 67% of them have to pass. So for all the proof of stake chains, the proof of stake chains require 66% signatures. So 66% of the validators have to sign and have to agree on whatever is going on the side chain is everything that's good. And then they put it on the Ethereum main chain, which is the third layer. And all of their stakes and everything is on Ethereum. So if they, if let's say there's a problem, is there's a kind of fraud that happens, anybody could go to Ethereum main chain, which for all of us, like for all practical purposes, we believe that is fairly secure. The smart contracts are reliable. So anybody from the public can go and challenge, transactions, that some of the challenge or anything that is any wrongdoing that is happening on the side chain on the Ethereum main chain. And everyone who has signed on a fraudulent transactions, since their stake is on Ethereum, they get slashed, right? So that provides you the third layer of security. So block production, validator layer security, and Ethereum level security. So combined, that makes it like very very secure, because this is incremental and additional security. Like this gets added. Like if you do some problem here, you can be checked at this point and the third point also. So basically, it combines together. So we strongly believe that it's fairly solid security, as well as, like you were talking. The question was about reversing the transactions. So transactions like cannot be reversed once without the consensus failure will happen if, let's say, there is any kind of event like that. So in terms of the confirmation, because it's a proof of stake confirmation and a proof of stake block production. So and that too by the randomly chosen validators or the block producers. So the chances of fraud are become very very low. Chances of collusion become very very low. And then since it's a deterministic algorithm based, leader based algorithm, so at any given point in time that which particular block producer is going to produce the blocks. So there are no fork related issues also. Like there are no fork on the sidechain, and if the fork happens, the validator layer detects it and sorts that out. So those kind of issues are very very rare to happen, and I would say that Matic sidechains are very very secure in that sense.
Yeah. Good to hear. Wouldn't be building if it wasn't secure. So very important. All right. So the next question, I think this is a joint question for both of us. But how would the regulation or ban affect Sapien and Matic? From your perspective, should investors and blockchain enthusiasts prepare themselves for either of these scenarios? And then specifically, what focus does Sapien put in the various Telegram and Twitter communities in India specific to crypto and blockchain? So maybe Sandeep, you want to start with this? Yeah, talking a little bit about that.
Specific to India. So first of all, I would say that the guardrails we when I was setting up all the Matic entities and everything, so we specifically took care that the problems in any, not only India, any specific regulatory environment in the world does not affect the core the functioning of the Matic research team, which actually builds the Matic protocol. So especially coming specific to India, Matic Indian entity is a simple research entity. It does not have any exposure to crypto at all, so that doesn't affect India Matic India entities at all. And Indian entities are distributed from Singapore and then in the BVI. So we are not we are not affected by any of these issues. The second question might be that what if the ban comes in and then the kind of activity in the crypto community in India goes down. I think on the exchange level, although Indian volumes are still very small volumes, because somebody specifically asked about the tokens and all that stuff. So Indian volumes are still fairly low compared to the global volumes. But then, and most of the Indian kind of crypto enthusiasts, they don't trade on Indian exchanges. Indian exchanges are more of on-ramp, off-ramp kind of this thing. Most of the trading happens on exchanges like Binance, where in my experience, most of the Indian traders trade. So I don't think that is also going to be a very huge impact, because we already had that kind of problem in the last 1.5 years. And Indian volume stayed almost similar, but yeah, recently there have been a surge, so that surge might get affected a bit, but apart from that, it's fine. In terms of the entrepreneurial activity, because many people might be asking it, because Matic is a DApp platform and then many DApp developers are building on Matic. So even though a large part of Indian applications, I would say a very large part, like maybe 80-90% of all the applications that are being built in India, they are built on Matic. But even then, they are still a very small percentage, let's say 10 to 15% of overall teams that are building on Matic, right? So that's there. But I think that these 10% of people, I don't think any of these guys were not building their applications before the Supreme Court approval, or Supreme Court reversal of the ban came in, right? So the DApp developers and the entrepreneurs in the blockchain space, they are not deterred by the regulatory this thing, because they are anyways not building things related to crypto. They are building blockchain related things, and on that Indian government has a very strong focus. So all of these three areas, like in like two areas basically, the trading as well as the entrepreneurship side of things, I don't see a very major impact even if the ban comes in. Now, finally, coming to the ban side of things, I don't think that the ban will be tenable. Last time also, when this circular from RBI was there, even then many media houses had asked me, and I told them that I don't believe that this is tenable, because India is a very democratic, like fiercely democratic country, and it's very hard to have these outright bans. So government has to bring a law to ban anything, right? So I don't think that that's tenable in the long run, anyways. So even if there is some problem, there might be a tenable one.
Right.
Ankit?
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's so important that India takes the right steps here, right? And being a US based company, obviously, we're not constantly watching the activities in India, but the government should be doing all it can to keep innovation within the country, right?
Yeah.
So India is such a fast growing economy, and we still have a significant percent of the population, something like 50%, live on less than $1 a day. So at least for Sapien, we see India as a great market for people to come on and create content that is of high quality and get rewarded for it, right? This could be an alternative source of income even for many people. And this is what tokenization enables. And to just completely force your country to exit from this technological and economic innovation, I think is not a good idea. So I'm all for encouraging innovation and homegrown innovation. That's what makes US so great. And I think when it comes to blockchain and all this, like just the important part is to really go after like the scams and the tokens that are fraudulent, outright fraudulent, or promising all sorts of things. I think that's still going to be the case all over the world, right? So we have to be careful about weeding out those bad projects, but the projects that are working hard, behind the scenes to really build this future, I think they need to be, respected. So it's not just a blanket ban of any sort. That's just my 2 cents. I'm not in India, but so yeah, specifically for Sapien, are there various Telegram and Twitter communities in India specific to crypto and blockchain? So for us, we actually recently launched our community Discord, and we have a India community there. We're looking to onboard creators both in the crypto mainstream world. US, for example, we had the Women's Empowerment Club based out of SF, who recently joined. The Curbside podcast. This is a podcast for car enthusiasts, and of course, the Matic Tribe, just to name a few. So we are looking to increase marketing efforts in India. We're in touch with several ambassadors and even in direct contact with the Times Group India. So we may be doing a joint marketing campaign with them. So if you're leading Twitter, WhatsApp, Telegram community based in India, and you see some opportunity for collaboration, and want to move your community to a private home with a more powerful set of features, definitely please reach out to us.
Yeah, this gives me a very cool idea also. I'll discuss with you, Ankit. I mean, there are some other communities also. I'll discuss with you after the call, maybe.
Good. All right. So we're almost approaching 30 minutes, but just about halfway through these lists of questions. I want to thank everyone for that's on the stream so far, and for giving us all these great questions. So, all right. So the next question after the ban. Okay, this is another one for Sapien. What are the ways that Sapien generates profits, revenues to maintain your project, and what is the revenue model? How can it be a win-win both for the investor and the project? So currently we have a 5% fee in the network for creating tokenized polls and promoting posts and comments on the platform. So this concept of promoting that I introduced earlier, called charging, is useful for businesses and users that are looking to increase their visibility of their content. So this might be a creator that says, hey, this is a great blog post I've written. I want to promote it to my community. Or it might be a business or advertiser that are looking for more visibility for their brand. So charging sort of satisfies their need. The reality is that the most active users are actually having lower fees due to our staking utility, which reduces the fee based on their stake. We linearly map the stake between 0 and 5%. So that means that the top staker on Sapien has a 0% fee, the bottom staker has 5%, and the median staker has a 2.5% fee. And the important thing really to know here is that Sapien makes money when users participate in the value economy rather than the extractive attention economy that currently exists on social platforms. Yeah. Next one is for Matic. Will Matic Daps become mainstream? How are you going to compete with popular Daps from EOS, Steam, and Tron?
I am not sure whether there are many popular, Daps anywhere in the blockchain space yet. Like that's why we believe that now only like. So one thing is that because the scalability and all those kind of infrastructural, like the infrastructure was not ready. Like Ankit, if you were building, Sapien was going live back in 2018, it would be very hard to really achieve a particular like kind of user experience where people can actually do it. But now you can actually have almost similar like user experience with the gasless transactions, with like fast transactions and things like that. So I think that first of all, like not only on Matic but overall, Daps in the blockchain space, I think we are now approaching or entering the time where some of them will really become big. If some of them are able to catch, good business model. I think, I mean, ODS, for example, right? ODS has been doing really great, and it's really good to see one or two applications who are really picking up or striking the gold in terms of the business model that you need to build in the decentralized or the blockchain kind of space. So that's main one point, that there are no famous or popular dApps in any platform. Coming to whatever we have in terms of our community, I think gaming, we are like most of the popular games are either gambling or gaming, right? So on gaming side, we are already growing very very fast. I think we have, I mean, I can very confidently say that we are one of the fastest growing platform over there. Almost all the top games either are exploring Matic or have moved to Matic. I have another one big game moving on to Matic. It will be announced next week most likely. But one of the more anticipated games in the blockchain space, they are also moving on to Matic. So the gaming side of things. So I'm very confident that if, let's say, 10 games make it big in the next 1 year, out of them at least 3 or 4 would be Matic games, Matic based games, that I'm pretty confident on. But let's see how it turns out. And in terms of the dApps, like we are banking on applications like Sapien, who are like global in scale, based out of US, and trying to get US audience. We strongly feel that we will try to help our best to the Sapien team to get Indian community also, and then have a large community. So we believe some of these applications are there. Then we have Spring Roll in India doing very good, trying to constantly optimize their business models. So there are multiple applications like that which expect to grow big in the coming days. And but gaming and VR spaces, especially like third space is the VR based space. So Decentraland, the number one virtual world, is on Matic. Somnium space, probably the number 2, number 3, frequently number 1 in terms of the traded assets on OpenSea. They are on Matic. Sandbox also had recently published that they are keenly exploring Matic for their scalability needs and everything. So on the VR space, we have already captured like I think 60-70% this thing, and this is when we are still in the beta mainnet mode, right? So we have just gone into meta final mainnet in the last 20 days. So to answer your question, in short, I strongly believe that yes, there will be mass scale applications, and much bigger than any applications, any dApp that you see in the current space right now, in the blockchain space right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think just so excited for the future there, and just the things that DApp projects have to work on building the best possible user experience, and really unlocking the value prop from the blockchain, right? That's a lot of our focus, and it's great to see all these great projects that you listed, Sandeep, that are building on Matic. And I think this is our final question. I can wrap it up. Why did Sapien choose to build on the Ethereum blockchain? Considering it's difficult to scale and susceptible to DAO hacks, what strategy do you have to overcome these issues? Well, we built Sapien on Ethereum because we truly believe in the vision for Ethereum 2.0 and a global computer, right? So one of the things that inspired me early when I was starting Sapien with Rob was this vision that Vitalik had to build, to bring Ethereum nodes to mobile phones, so that I was at this conference and he was talking, he wanted to advance Ethereum to the point where anyone could run a full node. And I really think that's truly when the decentralized revolution starts, right? We need the ability for anyone to participate in consensus and be a part of securing the blockchain. More on Ethereum, we've been talking a ton about interoperability, all of the great projects that are building, DeFi, wallets, collectibles, games. Anyone building anything cool is doing it on Ethereum, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing with the DAO hack, so this wasn't really a problem with Ethereum, but more the Solidity implementation. So as any low-level software engineer knows, you have to manage memory in C, and you don't have this issue with like Python and Java. But what we really need to do here is make sure we invest more in auditing immutable technology, and maybe try out safer languages like Viper, right, which has like checks for bound checking and or bounds and overflow checking, right? So we can be at least a little bit more safe there. And then regarding scalability, that's why we have fantastic projects like Matic that are helping us scale today, and we don't have to wait for years to build this stuff out. So,
even on our scalability side, so we could have, if there was any other blockchain which is viable and has the vision that really matches the the spirit of the revolution, the decentralized revolution, we would have also chosen any other layer one. But we are purely on Ethereum right now.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, Sandeep, this was great. We had some fantastic questions. I want to thank you for taking the time, and we look forward to maybe another AMA some other day.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Ankit. Yeah. Bye. Thank you all.